Just give me a minute or two just while I'm finishing my sandwich. While I do that, if you can just patiently wait with me, and I'll try to get myself set up with a few things. Let's see. Okay, guys, let's start. Hopefully there's a few joining us, and it's not the most important thing. People can ask questions while it's live, but my goal is to put something up out there for those who are interested, and they can always look at it later on and replay it and so on. So let's look at the total market cap at the moment. I remember, let me just have a look at this. I thought I had a better chart somewhere before. Give me a sec. Is this the one? Okay, that's another perspective. So we can start from scratch on this chart, and we can see what I've placed there, which is, that's an 8 hour. So I'm just put on the daily. So this is the total market cap for crypto, and if we were to apply our general approach, you can see we're pretty much stuck between two layers at the moment. This range here is obviously the resistance, and it's on the 0.618 level. I want to make that wide. And just like before, so we have this other fib level, funny enough. They all seem to be lining up really well as support. So we're stuck in this range. I have a gut feeling to say, can we look at any formations? Not really. That looks like more of a slightly above a broadening wedge, or more so a downward channel. And we've got this moving average, which is the 21 daily moving average, and it's aligned with the Fibonacci. So it's very coincidental that the fib and the candlestick comes together, and then we get a rejection. From a volume perspective, there's nothing really. We can see volume sort of slightly dropped off as it goes lower. But in essence, there's really not much we can say that's going to happen, except that this is currently resistance and this is currently support. Now, generally, what I tend to do is try to count. In one way, so if this is our A, B, C, that's one way of looking at it for correction. So we have our big move, 1, 2, 3, big move, and the A, B, C correction. You can put pretty much that's 3, 4, and then 5, and then we have our A, B, and where's C? Can C. So in my mind, if we lose this level, we're definitely going straight to this one, which is pretty much consistent with support. And at this point, we had a nice response there, and a nice resistance. So if maybe we could go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then saw a massive reversal structure. And if that was to take place, probably towards the end of the month, the way this looks like, this you can probably take these lines as a good trend line, resistance trend line. So if this was to come here, probably another little rejection. But if we get these lower highs, then we can potentially see a nice breakout. So that is from a total cap perspective. It's still similar approach to any other chart, that we'll look at fib levels and we'll look at formations and candlesticks. And right now there is nothing much but sideways, which is consistent with on-chain data. I'm not going to go into too much details, but I can say that Willy Woo, I subscribe to Willy Woo's reports, and on the macro, he's pretty much bullish, but in the midterm, it's neutral. Neutral, and it can go either way. So, and that's what we're seeing. So I think that could answer a few people's questions. That'd be good. While I'm yapping away, let me just look at a few comments. What coin is that? Okay, that's a total market cap. So total market cap of crypto. Is that answer? Hello to Mr. Bahan and Jackson. G'day there, mate. Is somebody there? Okay. I'm taking all. You can all hear me. Okay. That time frame is the daily. So let's get rid of all that drawing, and maybe I should just try to get this bigger screen so you can see a bit more details, hopefully. So my screen is a 4K screen and a 32 or 34 inch. So it's a lot of detail on me, but I don't know how you receive it. So we can see that realistically, if you know the Elliott gain, if that's wave 3 on the macro and that's wave 4 on the macro, what we tend to do is we'll put Fibonacci across that. And it was a bit disappointing that if we were to do this Fibonacci, it did stop at, actually it did line up very well to the 1.272. I didn't expect this much of a pullback, tell the truth. I thought this will be it here and then go for the 1.414. But a bit more, they're playing games with us. So they pulled it a bit deeper. And right now, by doing that method, you can see it's on the 618. So that was a good response. So as long as I'm concerned, if we stay above this level for a number of reasons, then it's bullish. I think if we were to lose this, we're in a bear market. I think we'll go down much more from a total cap perspective. So as long as we stay above this level, this one here, we're fine. We're still in a bull market. Now, what supports us on that is, okay, looking at the daily as we are, I like to see this line break. I like to see it go above this and above the 50% to regain. So if you know RSIs, this is a change in trend. So as soon as we got here, that was pretty much a change in trend, and that matches it. So on the daily, we changed trend, and we've been under 50% on the RSI, and what we're looking for is a break from this trend. So we've seen a resistance there, which sort of lines up with these two key pivot points, and what we're looking for is a breakthrough there, and then we want to see go above 50% and then potentially go up. Do we have that in the past? We had it on the past to come down, but in this case, we had a decisive break to the upside, just like here too, decisive break to the upside. You can see that, look how long that took. That area took from May to July, so 3 months. Here with November to probably end of January, we probably, what we're seeing is actually a bit of a bullish not a bullish divergence, but anyway, there's a lot of stuff there that will make sense from an RSI perspective as well. And when I look at the Phoenix, it did make it up. So it's good that it went above the 50%. And what we have is potentially a small dip and then a reversal. That's what I'm hoping for. So yeah, if we go down a bit and then up, I think that's potentially a good thing to happen. So it's looking promising. You know, this is all anticipation. There's no confirmation. It's just looking at a few signs with the indicators, and from that perspective, this looks all right. Now let me go to the 2-day just to see if there's anything. Yeah, so we've got the momentum is above 50% on the 2-day, and let's look at the weekly. And you can see the weekly is actually a bit of a bullish divergence. If this was just to stay sideways, it's looking good. What we want to see on the weekly is just one or two nice, 1 week probably would make the difference to cross this over. And we can see on the weekly, the RSI is not really that deep. So we might be able to just go up. And from a weekly perspective, if we want confirmation, that's pretty much it there. Once we break that level, then we can pretty much feel comfortable. So it's a bit of a W and then up. That's what we're looking for, maybe like that. Let's see how it goes. All right, so that's total market cap. And these Fibonacci's are pretty much really well aligned. And what we can see on the weekly candlestick, we need to see this. So we don't want to see any wicks on the bottom. We don't want to see any one. I suppose as long as we see a wick, that's really good. At the moment, this is really looking good on the crypto. This is looking good. So you can see the clear resistance, 618 candlesticks on the weekly. Beautiful. So it's easy to read. So the total market cap makes sense. So I'm just going to close that off. And this is the details. I was thinking, if it didn't follow my last video stream, I was talking about it as head and shoulders, and the target roughly, it's not there, is it? The target was 1.8. It's ever so close. We've got 1.485, and it's still staying above. So the head and shoulders, this one here, if we bring it down to the neckline, and then apply to the neckline, that was the target for this head and shoulders. It's close enough, I think. And that's why we just saw it going sideways a bit. And let's hope this holds. I have no issues for it to come down here again. If it comes down here, it's a good buying opportunity from a market perspective. So, and this broadening wedge makes sense as well. So that's another perspective, looking at total market cap. And I will close that off. Actually, that one there, this one is the US dollar. And let's just, so what we had, which is really good, favorable for Bitcoin, and if this US dollar index, if that stays the way it is, and I'll just change that color so we can have something, 2 pivot points. So this, that we broke it. So now it's going to hopefully act like resistance and the US dollar drops. And usually that correlation means Bitcoin goes up and probably stocks will probably go up as well. So that's SPX 500 looking, hopefully, we've got that level and we've got this trend line and doesn't look that weak. Still looking bullish. And on the bottom left corner, we got the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ along the way has a channel. You got the middle of the channel, and currently it's holding the support. So NASDAQ is looking good as well. And you got this Fibonacci level. So that's, unless something comes new onto the market, everything looks bullish from the stock market perspective. And now we've got Bitcoin here. Now let's look at Bitcoin from a different perspective, from the macro. I had this Fib fan that really makes sense to me. And so this level here from 40,000 or 39,000. So my philosophy on this so far, and I'll explain. If I look at this, this was a trend line prior to the drop here. So before this dropped here, and let me explain it to you, just do a replay. Right, and I'll get rid of this. I'll get rid of that as well. No, I want to get rid of that. Okay. So what we had here is initially this looked like the trend line. All right. You can move that trend line up to a point from a log setting, no log setting. So if we to do that, you can say, okay, that was a trend line with a log setting on. All right, ever so close. And if I was to remove that log setting, you'll see what happens. But anyway, we can play one setting like that. What people expected was potentially a nice move to the upside, and you can see that not 4 hours. We don't want 4 hours. It's going to take forever. What we can do is play this forward, and it drops, and then it goes up. So this trend line, whoops, what the whales did is we had what looked like a nice support line up to that point, and that last bit was a fake out, pretty much a bear trap, right? So we had this nice potential trend line, and this last bit definitely is a fake out, bear trap, and then up it goes. So assuming this trend line was correct, we'll get rid of that, and we'll just play this forward. While it's done that, we're going to close that off. My perception is the next trend line. So if we were to grab this and potentially look at this as a trend line, and my thinking is that we can still come down here, visit, and that blue trend line could pretty much push price up, but there could be that last little bit that pushes it down and then up. I'm not saying it's going to go down to 38k. Maybe it can, don't know. But at this point, I do see 40k as a strong support, and there's that little bit of possibility that it can go back down to the low 39ks. That's what I'm thinking. On the daily, if we were to, or even actually probably the weekly, if we were to close below this, that's pretty bearish on the weekly. So from the daily perspective, I don't mind seeing the wick, but below 40k, more than a day, where a candle closes and opens and closes on a daily below 40k is very bearish. But that could be a strategy where they might just do that and just liquidate those longs. If we were to happen to do that, I would definitely see this coming down to the 34 range, somewhere in the middle, around here. So if we were to do that, just playing the bearish perspective, if we were to do that, we'll just get a volume, and I would be looking to buy somewhere around there, right in the middle of that pivot point, and that's about 34k. If we were to lose that 40k on a daily open and close candle, I do see that this could potentially go down. But at this point, I don't see that happening. There's a lot of effort to hold this up, and I think the bulls are. And now we'll look at the indicators and see if it's oversold. But anyway, that is, I can get rid of that just for the short term. What we can do is see what we can learn from the previous price action. So if I was to just get that out the way, what we saw, and it might play out again, we had a whole bunch. This episode pretty much came down, and then we had this fake out, and then we came back down deeper. In a mini sense, we had that same thing. We had that breakout and then come down, but it's not coming down as conveniently as this. So it's a smaller component, and I think it matches something similar to that, where there's a lot of support. And if we're to look at the RSI on that, on the 12th, we saw that pretty much helped us out. So I'm thinking this will be a good sign to go long if we were to break that, and it really depends on how the candlestick is. So here we had a nice strong bullish candle on a daily. Here we had two bullish candles, or three combination right there. And if you see something like that, just go long. At the moment, we don't have anything like that. Okay, so right now the candlestick combination is bearish, so it wouldn't surprise me for it to go low or keep ranging. There is nothing bullish, and I don't see any patterns of any type. It's just that could be a just the bounces 1, 2. If this could hold, it might be able to be bullish. I just don't see that happening. I still feel like this is going to be a few more weeks in that space. I'm just going to disable that noise for a sec. Okay, so from that perspective, we can play the devil's advocate. There might be a bit of a wick down. Buy the dip is pretty much what I'm saying. The hard part to this is leveraging. When to go long with the leverage, high leverage, and that's a risky move. And was that the bottom? That 39k? I think it might have been. I still expect this. So if I was to clear that up, I still expect maybe one more effort, another wick, and then we have something bullish going on. Maybe a reversal of some type. I don't know. But I do see this zone, demand zone, it's still a demand zone. And we had one oversold there. That was the capitulation one. So we had a nice bounce. 50% is the range. What we want to see is that 50% broken for the regain of the trend. This blue line is so far is the line in the sand for me. If this was to potentially do that, give it a few taps. So far it's done 2. You can see historically these things work. And even here, if you were to draw that line there, pretty much this was sideways, but still. So you can use RSI in that perspective. And so big picture, let's delete it all. Let's look at the weekly, Bitcoin weekly. I think what we have potentially from there to there on a weekly basis, we don't want to see it go below this or close below it. And if I was to put my bullish hat on, that would be my A, B, C. I reckon we'll get another rejection and somewhere E there. Something like that. That is a bullish perspective. And the bearish perspective is pretty much the other way around. And so if this was to go up to 50k and gets rejected, we're going to go down, back down to there. And then that's going to be another case where we reassess. So 50k is, to me, the elephant in the room, where we need to break that level. That is a clear resistance level for the 50k. So this is going to get hit on 50k, and we could revisit that trend line, and it needs to hold to keep going up. If we break that trend line, I think we'll come back down to here, and what I expect, which is hopefully not the case, we might actually, so you can see these weeks, we'll do the same here as well. But there could be the case where we front run it here. So if this was to go down, we can get from that level up because of that support, or we've got 3 levels, haven't we? We've got the middle, and in some cases, that can really push it down and then up. But that's a scenario that if it comes to, we'll talk about it. But right now, this looks good. We just want to see a reduction on that weekly candle. With and the fact that what are we in? We're in. I'm losing track of time. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 days. Maybe we'll see a wick in those 5 days again. But we don't want to see it close below that. So that's the weekly. We don't want to see the weekly close below that. That'll be nasty. So we don't want to see a weekly candle close below that. That could mean more downside. The RSI has room to go down deeper. don't expect it to go that deep. This is capitulation last time. That was another COVID capitulation. And you can see that that was a nice deep pullback, and so far we're about the same level. So if we can see that, that'll be great. So that's Bitcoin from a high level, and I suppose I'll discuss all those other things in between. Just give me a sec. Okay. One thing I do want to check, so we're pretty much done there. Anyone's got a question, let me know. Let's see, what do you think about Ethereum? It seems to be bearish. I'll come to Ethereum. So that's Bitcoin at the moment. Ethereum tends to follow Bitcoin, but let's see. I've got the Bitcoin dominance, so I just want to have a quick look on that. There we go. I don't know where that came from. Okay, I'm being a bull. What is the word? Alt season pro. So potentially see a bit of an escalation of. So what we have here is the previous bottom, and you can see how that lines up. And then we've got this all-time low, and that's where I got the alt season. So we might get a bit of a move, because what we're seeing is bullish divergence in there so far, and this is pretty much a weekly. So the bullish divergence for Bitcoin is there, and the majority of the alts are pretty much suffering. So I could see why the Bitcoin dominance is going to go up, but there's going to be a point where it just drops. I think the RSI will drop, and we're just going to keep an eye on that. But anyway, that's what I'm thinking. We'll go to 1, 2, 3, and then potentially down. As long as it stays below 50%, Bitcoin dominance will pretty much, alts will perform better. That's a philosophy. Right now, this area is holding, and we are seeing bullish divergence. So I'm expecting a bit of a bounce. That bounce could be due to Bitcoin dropping or breaking out, and I think it's going to be a bit of a Bitcoin drop. I think Bitcoin will drop to make that rather than a bounce for breaking out. But no one's going to know that until it happens. So that's from a Bitcoin dominance perspective. Now, if I look on the daily, let's clean all that out. Okay. Do we see anything different? Now, bullish divergence as well. So you can see the RSI on the daily is bullish divergence. So from there to there, I'm expecting Bitcoin to go up a bit. Yeah, so just be careful what coins you have. Anyway, there's not much really we can say there at the moment. It's that pretty much triple bottom. 1, 2, and I do see it going up. Let's see if this is going to give us a hand. Fixed volume from there to there. Okay, so looking at that, it might be just the level that's going to be rejected. So this could potentially be there for the bounce and then come back down. Now, in the past, how did it do it? Let's see. That was just a real dump, wasn't it? A massive dump. So it's none of this sideways stuff. So that was pretty much really clear. And then, okay. And that was in 2000. Okay, that was all-time high for Bitcoin, which was 20,000. So that's very different to our scenario. Can't use that model except for the levels. So that's all I got for that. I'm going to close that. And this is Bitcoin and shorts. And we can see the shorts pretty much going up. So I'm using RSI on this indicator on the shorts, and you can see the shorts are finding support, and shorts are going up. which doesn't surprise me. But anyway, that's that. I'll close that off. This is Bitcoin in the 30-minute. And what we can see there is some confluence. All right, we've got the top, and that was pretty much a 618 level. So if we were to get from the bottom to that level there, it was a 618 resistance. So that's the reason why it got rejected. And pretty much, actually this is probably head and shoulders, so it came down in a tight range at the moment. My thinking is, as you can see there, it is we had this trend rejection along, on the smaller time frame, rejection and support, and when we broke it, I think it's going to come down to high 40s. So this is the level. Potentially this is the level as well, that fib level, 41,400, and we've got to see something happen. We're going to watch and observe, see what happens there. But I do see it coming down a bit more, the way it's currently set. And I'll be looking, if I can, make that last potential short. I wasn't sure, so I closed my short. I had a short there. I slept through it all, and it came back up, and I go, it's not worth it. But I should have left it. You want to sleep through it. Okay, Cardano and XRP. Can do that. So that's what I got for now. Key levels, using volume point of control. That's the middle. So definitely that is there, and you can see why. That was there last time, and that's still pretty much orientated, but I don't see the same reaction. So this is becoming weak, and therefore I'm expecting it to drop. So constant resistance there and down, and then we're going to see, I think we'll, just based on this previous stuff, if I do that, this level is definitely relevant. You can see the volume as well. So I do think that there might be a bounce, and then potentially one more level, and then, that's what I'm thinking. I don't think it's too bearish. But yeah, definitely a double bottom will be nice. So we have the W, 1, 2, 3, and up. That could be our soles, and just push it a bit more lower. That's where I got my orders, by the way. I'm looking for those orders there. I got 38.5 to 39.5, and I have a gut feeling they just push it, just wick it, make it wick, and then up. Maybe just one more lower. It could be wrong. Could be just here. It's the game you take, the chances you take, and those who are patient should do well. Anyway, it's everything's based on time, candlesticks, and so on. All right, now let's look at a few other thoughts. Cardano. So let's do Ethereum. That was the first one. So I'm going to close this. Just to let you know, while I got this, I'm shorting. So this is for NIA. That was a nice setup. I think NIA hit a key level. I think I posted it. I'm not sure if I posted it today. Yeah, I did. I did post it there. So have a look at that. And look at close. I do think it's going to be a continuation pattern. If Bitcoin's going to go down, I think this will do the same. And then we find some support for NIO to go up. Anyway, I'm trading that. I can say that. Okay, that's got Atom on it. Let's go for Ethereum. Let's see. I haven't looked at Ethereum for a while, so thanks for letting me look at it as well, because I might miss out otherwise. Okay, so this one is Ethereum Index. So the Ethereum Index has a lot of history from the beginning. So if we go to the weekly, and if you don't know, this Ethereum logarithmic channel is there, and you can have a look at that. So it's relatively good. I've applied the 20 and the 30 and the 50, no 34 weekly EMA, and from a macro perspective, it's not looking good. So we found that it's all right. Let's have a closer look. So that was my level there, that fib level. So you can see it hit the 1.414 perfectly. So the extension from the previous top, wave 3 to wave 4, and that's my fib 1, 0, and you can see the 414 perfectly, and then it's gone down. Now the 1.272 should hold. If it doesn't, then I'm going to look at this fib channel. This fib channel is also showing a lot of confluence to be support. So this could come down to there and potentially go up. All right, so that's my thinking. Ethereum is still looking good, and this could be the buy zone. Very hard. Let's look at the indicator. Yes, I did that. You need a really daily candle to make that decision, but at the moment, momentum's still down on the daily, on the weekly. Sorry, so it's still there. If we get a crossover, and check this later on, very similar to this area. If we get something similar to this, then we're going to be favorable for a bounce. At the moment, you can see volume dropping off. So as the volume drops off, it's coming to a squeeze, and you can see how volume drops off really low there. Volatility really drops off, and then you have a big move. So the candlesticks aren't telling us anything yet on the weekly. It's pretty much like Bitcoin, and you can see here we had some wicks down there. So this range could still come down with the wicks. Okay. And if I was to go to the daily, double tap, I'd get rid of that logarithmic. Okay, so I had stuff here as well. You can see I was wrong there. So I was basing that on that trend line. So that's really not working. And I had a similar thing with Bitcoin. So that trend line is pretty much broken. I don't have much Ethereum now. I'll flip that. So looking on the daily, yeah, still downward momentum. I'm not confident that this is going to go anywhere anytime soon, Ethereum. The on-chain data does say that they're starting to reaccumulate. So let's have a look at the fib level. Where it makes sense. So okay. Let's get rid of this. I'll leave that. Yeah, this could come down. So, the fact that it bounced there and connect that support. At the moment, on the daily, it's not really doing much. To be accurate, 100%, it's dropped below the 618. So I do see it coming down to about 290 potentially. That area is still a good buying zone. So yeah, if I was to buy, I'll wait for it to. If it really wicks down there, I'll have my orders there somewhere in the high 2000s. That's what I'm thinking. And what we have here, we had our A, B, and pretty much C. When can you go bullish? Yeah, if you go above the 3,000 level, 3,180, if we get a nice weekly close there, that'll be good. That would definitely be a bullish sign. Not much really to add to that. At the moment, it's just downward pressure. There's nothing. It's not. Bitcoin's actually doing better. So if we were to look at the Bitcoin, Ethereum against Bitcoin, I have one of those charts. I did flip. I did time it right, and so if I was to just go move this back, and then show you. So from a Bitcoin pairing, Ethereum against Bitcoin, I'll be looking at that. And you had your layers there. So if you had your trend line, really, that was your exit. So I did that. There was a nice opportunity to, I suppose, short that. But I was focused on other coins, obviously. This level makes sense so far the way it is as this channel. So it's possible that, I think it's still going to lose a bit more. You might find support here or support here and then go up. Does that give us any sort of structure that could be considered bullish? Yeah, you can say that's pretty much a boarding wedge in a way. It'll be nice for it to just get. I'll go bullish when this I see a green candle, and I think it'll get a type of thing like that. That would be nice. I might just do that before it goes up. You can see from here congestion, like that is perfect level on the 618. That's probably the best place to wait for it before you flip. So I think this will keep coming down, and I think the congestion with the volumes profiles point of control is all along that line. And if we were to just add that, and let's see how it goes. So if we were to grab that and move it across. Okay, so if we were to clear and do that again. I'll have an idea. Okay. And we'll do one more. So we've got two levels. That's one. There's a bit of a volume there with this profile, if you can look at that. So that's another volume, and that's pretty much touched that. And the second level is there. So if this was not going up, drops there, that will be, in my opinion, perfect based on the Fibonacci. Yeah, so we've got two Fibonacci's. That's one with a double bottom and potentially the 0.382. So I would wait for it to come down a bit lower. This is probably average in, and if it comes a bit more lower, pretty much go in north. This was a nice, easy way of, I believe in my group, I did a good job calling the top. Actually, there was a post. I did a public post. I did it perfectly, that one, actually. Now I remember. Someone gave me compliments. So I did time that perfectly. And that was pretty much based on like you saw, the fib extension. It was perfect. So I think it's pulled back enough. It's just a bit more to go before it's going to outperform Bitcoin. And you've got a few means of measuring when that's going to be. Okay, so I will look at that. All right, now call me Mohit. Okay. Might be stop loss hunting. What do you think about Ethereum? Just did that. Cardano and XRP. All right. So let's do ADA. ADA was actually a bit difficult. I was talking about it today in the group. It's a hard one. At the moment, it's got a lot of momentum to the upside. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Now I'll go to the daily just to. Okay, well, let's just delete all that, I suppose, just for the time being. So what we had, and I'll just reverse that. You can see we overperformed just a little tad on the 1.618. Now it's going to be hard. Actually, where's the other one? Okay, there we go. So that's one perspective. Another perspective is the fib extension from there to there, and that's also gives us the 1.618. Right. Now we can see that we have confluence with this fib extension, the 1.272, playing support. Historically, we have all that level is demand. So that's why you got that response. I think this is probably likely to get rejection there. Like you can see that level is rejection. If it breaks above it, then it's going to be bullish. So if we go closer, at the moment, it's right on that fib level. If I move things away, so that's where we're getting that rejection, previous high as well. And if we add the point of control with volume, okay, so we saw why we got support there. It's pretty clear there. And then we got that dip, which is pretty much a fake out potentially. Very, very similar. So that was a real good opportunity to buy, to tell the truth. That's probably not going to get that chance again. It's going to be a hard one to trade, really. Looking for, looking at this, I think we're likely to see a rejection. Maybe it couldn't even go up to there. So if we were to get the from there to there, okay, there we go. So the 302, maybe we can get up to the 0.5 reject and be rejection. But that's, to me, that looks bullish. How'd you go at work? Okay. Son just came home. You hungry? There's not much food. Just look. And anyway, so looking at that, that is bullish in my perspective. That was a nice, strong response. I think the patient ones really saw that opportunity and jumped in. That is close to $1. Yeah, $1.09. So anything below $1 is a bargain as far as I'm concerned. I was hoping it was going to go below $1. You just like these wicks, but anyway, we'll see. That was too much of a good response. So that's on the daily as well. So I do think that the ones that bought here won't let go, and the ones that bought in between might let go and take some profit. But the ones right at the bottom, nah, they're going to hold on. So this is potentially going to come low. There's two scenarios there. One that this is a bull flag and just hits that and then comes down. So you've got to watch that space. But I think it should come back down. If Bitcoin's coming down, that's going to come back down. That fib level is probably a good place to buy, which is $1.37 is pretty much. And you can see it's aligned with a lot of the areas that were prior resistance, and you got this level as well. So that range is going to be point of interest. I can't see it coming down that low unless Bitcoin does a real bit bad move. But that's what I got for ADA. All right. Thought on link. Oh, you got you got a list. All right. All right. Let's see how we go with time. All right. So that's ADA and XRP. So I'm doing this as well because for me and our group, we can also benefit from reviewing some of these coins. So let's look at XRP next. Okay. So grab the fib right from the bottom to the top. That's one perspective. It's another perspective, and you can see how things line up. Fibonacci, mate, gives you a lot of the answers, but you can't predict where it's going to go. So what we saw is pretty much a topping formation there, right? Very clear, and that was a sign to get out. That was actually interesting how that worked. Last effort, so we would have thought it kept coming down, but no, it just did that. This, to me, if I was to get rid of this, hold on, let me see if there's any volume there. There's not much volume here, profile, just the fib level. So this line, which lines up with this previous top, and we've got this level here as well, which sort of lines up with there. So, yeah, I don't think it will go lower because, yeah, so that wick obviously shows the area of demand. If Bitcoin drops fast, this will drop fast as well. So I can see that happening if Bitcoin just plummets. But if Bitcoin does what it does sideways, I don't see it coming down past that level there. So yeah, it's dependent on Bitcoin pretty much. But yeah, definitely, if I recollect, this was wave 3, this was wave 4, and this is, as I believe, reaccumulation. So you've got the top, you've got the bottom, and you've got this complex structure for reaccumulation, and I am bullish. So it's possible to come back down to these lows, like I said, and that's fine. I think that will do it. So if you look at the Wyckoff schematics, that it covers one of these, so it should be all right. Yeah, Ripple is still doing well, considering it's at 75 cents. That would have been the best place to buy it with the SEC news, and that was a real good capitulation. And look at what it did. Whenever there's oversold from fear, that was a massive gain. And I should have done that. That's 1,000%. There you go. So lessons learnt. There's no capitulation here. But yeah, I do see this coming sideways. And if I was to clear that up and look at from a formation perspective, yeah, it sort of fits in. You can have the flat bottom model. So yeah, you can have a flat bottom model like that, or you can have something like that. So either way is pretty much working out at the moment. Doesn't have to be perfect, but there's a continuation pattern of some sort in the making. I do think that this is not going to happen anytime soon. I do think that it might just drop once more before it goes up. It's probably does make a bit of sense. If we were to get that from there to there, 0.5, yeah, 0.5 is going to be potentially, I don't know if we'll go all the way down though, that's the thing. Anyway, that's very hard to figure out, but I'm bullish. Macro-wise bullish. In intermediate time, anything can happen because this is the way 3 and 4 complex. It's just complex in between, and it's very difficult to trade. And this is no different to Bitcoin as well. All right, next one. Link, Sol, Link, AVAX, Dot. Okay, all of my favorite ones. So I'm happy to look at those. I'll look at Dot. I'm really heavily into Dot. And let's see what we got for Dot. Don't need that. Yeah, baby, go down. All right. We've got 2 charts here against Bitcoin as well. Okay, so that is the weekly for Dot. So pretty evident on the so we've done the fib level there, point of control. That weekly candlesticks, previous resistance is acting as support. We don't want to see a weekly close below that, but it's not really helpful to know what to do there. Let's have a look at the indicator. Definitely not. It's not a deep pullback. Like this momentum is not really bad. It's light. It's not deep. It's like one of these ones. It's not really. It doesn't look like it's going to get pulled back deep. So potentially, if we see this just not a bullish candle, look, it's a hard one. If I was to look for entry, okay, so I've done something there before, and how's it tracking? So you can see why it's a bit of a resistance there. Now we drop below it. This 618 level is resistance, so I'll get rid of that. Whoops, that I don't think that's going to happen. So we can see a descending wedge of some sort, but easily it can drop below. So not if you're patient, I'll look for the $19-20 range. And obviously I've got that trend line there for some reason. Okay, so I did it because of the fib level. And is there any other? Okay, I suppose that's the way, the angle, and it's looking good. If I was to move that there, okay, let's get rid of the log, see what it does. Okay, that doesn't help. Usually when you have a trend line, it just breaks below the trend line and then goes back up. So I'll be looking for, to be lucky, $18.74, and I'm just being hopeful. I'll have my orders there. If it doesn't come, so be it. I'm still heavily into it. But yeah, this is let's see on the so this is the daily. Looking at the indicator on the daily, let's see. It's got a few speedheads outside. The downward momentum on the daily, it's not deep though. So Dot's looking all right. I don't think it's going to go that deep. Not on a daily perspective, no. This is lining up for that trend line, and when you think you should change your mind, if it breaks this line, if it goes below it, then yeah, it's going to go deeper. So keep an eye on that on the daily. Yeah, so the Fibonacci is pretty much showing you what's out there, but it's formation-wise, like everyone's talking about these left head and shoulder type of things. All the alts have them, and Bitcoin has it. So if Bitcoin loses that, anyway, if Bitcoin goes really bearish, this head and shoulders is going to play out. That's pretty much it. If we go bear market, it'll do the head and shoulders type of thing as well. But I think this is a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 5. I do see that, and this trend line, that level there is looking favorable, just like that, because we've got all the makings of it. If it drops below that, if it drops below this level of, yeah, that Fibonacci level of 1850 or something, that it's going to go deeper to this level here. So that's me playing both scenarios. So that's what I got for dot. Actually, I'll just get rid of all that. I like what I saw there. I'll just save that. I don't want to lose it. All right, what do we got next? Sol, yeah. Sol's got some good news coming out with the Visa stuff. So Sol can. Where's my? I saved this before. There we go. It's coming up. So I did expect it to drop a fair bit. So I'm pretty much out of. I sold most of my Sol. So I did expect it because I think it hit my target. If I was to do this, I think, yeah, it hit the 1.414. That's right. So, guys, if you don't know how to do it, you need to know how to take profit. I know, like, I used to be in that situation where I wasn't sure I should take profit. No, it could go up more, it can go up more. And if you do your Fibonacci's and you get the key levels, that's where you take profit, take percentage, and then you can buy cheaper at a cheaper rate. So this is definitely. So I've got all my moving averages, and you can see my box of interest, and this descending triangle is looking perfect, right? I can probably do that a bit. So that, yeah, I do think it could just drop below it or in the zone. So there's potentially, like that. It's working its way there. So let's see how it is. You can see the moving averages, how I think the 34 weekly moving average is doing a good job there. It's done a good job around here, the 34. And at the moment it's playing. So we've got up pressure from the moving averages perspective downwards, and we've got, so it's a squeeze is coming. That's what's happening. And I do think if Bitcoin was to hold its level, this will definitely be a good level of interest. There is that one possibility that Fibonacci is the target, because I'm doing it from that level to the top. Actually, sorry, from that level to the top, got the 0.618. From the macro perspective, let's try that out. From here to there. Is that the one? Yeah, so okay, so that becomes this area. So this area between these two is ideal. So we've got that and that. So this level will be nice. And there's nothing really significant there. Just the Fibonacci is pretty much telling us that this is an ideal situation. So if this was to drop, and up it goes. From an alleyway perspective, it's not really easy to count, but this could be 1, 2, and 3, which ABC, and then up, and potentially look for some sort of inverted head and shoulders, I would imagine. Just trying to see beyond that. Let me just do something here. I'll get all that. So if we were to use that, as some sort of trend line, and if we use that or that, potentially have something like that. And if this was to pull deeper, and still we have that that trend line is going to be helping us out. So we've got 2 points there. I do expect a third, and maybe somewhere on the fourth where it can break through, and that's aligned here there. So there, I can see basically a reversal structure potentially making in the plans, making move. But yeah, at the moment, I'll just be patient and I'll just wait for this area, just based on the Fibonacci. I just don't think Sol's pulled back deep enough. I think here would be nice. Top, bottom, top of structure, and then so on. And you can see, in a way, this is potentially a broadening wedge as well. And that will be a nice spot to buy. So if I was to apply, now we're just playing the rolls. C's nice there. D and somewhere around E. Anyway, just thinking out loud, that's what I got for Sol. And all right, how are we going with time? How long have I been online? I don't know. Close to an hour. All right, let's continue on. Link. I have a link, but I got rid of them. I got rid of a lot of link purely because it was momentum's down for the alts, and that looks good actually. Just by looking at that's 5 minute. Okay. All right, what do I have here? I've obviously done something before. Okay. Oh, that's Bitcoin. What am I doing? Link. Okay. Geez, that bounced all right. The 4 hour. So why didn't it get rejected there? Okay, so we're probably using that. No, it's not making sense. So when you can see, I think like many people, we had this big channel, and this channel was really working well until it broke. See, once it would break that channel, you see what happened. It just dumped, right? Okay, that's a non-log. So if I get rid of the log, okay, so there's another support line. Okay, so that support line worked out perfect. So using a non-log, you can see those pivot points and it worked perfect. So that would have been the bottom. I don't know if I bought any, can't remember. But that works. And yeah, you can see right there, we need to see a reversal. Otherwise it's just going to come down and I think it will be here again. One more touch. That's your last chance to buy at $19, and then up it goes. Otherwise, so you can see here, we've got a few levels of interest, and right now that's one of them. If we lose that level, it's that one there, and it can potentially go there and up, but I like the idea that it could probably come down there once more. Just got to keep an eye on that. But yeah, it doesn't give you any easy way of looking at it. But I think that's pretty much it. If I look on a log perspective, it's all over the place from that perspective. It's just like, oh, okay, 2 tops, 2 bottoms. So it's a lot. We're getting higher lows, and we can match that as well. But there is no way you can count that, and no way you can really I can't make sense of it from any formation perspective. Can we? So let's just delete that. So that's the bottom. That's the top. That's one. Yeah. No. It's a hard. So all I can see is that top there, flat top, and that there. So you can see what's potentially what's bullish about it. But definitely that is the main resistance. That there. So $29 or $30 is the main resistance, and if it goes up there, I still see it struggling to get past and potentially down. But that is, you can see that layer is pretty much support. At the moment, it's just coming down below it. So this is, I would look to buy there $19 again, as it's still the same. Looking from a different perspective. All right, Luna. Luna is pretty bearish, and yeah, so that's a bit of a good rejection. That's okay. That could be a, yeah, I think. So if that's our A, that's our B. It could potentially come back down here again. Very hard one to, let's see, go from another perspective. Come on. Okay. So it didn't go parabolic as I hoped it would. And it didn't go to that level either. Okay. Got a line there. So that's a trend line. Didn't quite work out. Yeah, I do see it coming down a bit more. That's a key level. And it's not an easy one. The reason being is Luna's done very well. It's really done very well. And if I look at this, where is this? Yeah, so this 1.618. Okay, there we go. So very similar to historically Bitcoin, when it hit its mark, it pulled back to the 1.618 level, find support. So that was the bottom, as far as I'm concerned. That was it. And how much pullback was that? That was, that's like 40% pullback. But yeah, I think that was the bottom. I can get rid of that. Don't need that. What it does from here is very difficult to say. You can see how it, in certain, like, it respects certain fib levels all the way through. The ones I've put in, it's being respected. And so if that was the bottom, and that's the top, we just got sideways. So obviously that's going to be resistance, and that's going to be support. No idea what's going to happen. Can go down or up. That's not easy to say. So long-term wise, yeah, if it's still a bullish market, Luna is going to pretty much, I like to see Luna pull back. Just for it to be bullish, I like to see it pull back a bit more to here or there. Then I can see it going really high. If it goes sideways like this, it's so when you have a pullback deep, it springs, it pushes it up stronger. If it goes sideways, it doesn't have that power. So for Luna to go really strong, you want to see it pull back deeper. So if that's A, B, C, I just can't see going past that. So it could be just a double bottom and then up. All right, that's what I got on that. AVAX. All right. I was looking at AVAX a few days ago. Okay. Don't know what that is. To me, AVAX looks like it can break down a fair bit more. It's probably because it's done a good target. So yeah, based on this structure, it hit the 1.618, pulling back. It's neutral at the moment. You can't tell. It can probably go like that, or down a bit more. Which way? No idea. But you can see that when it hits a good target, it does pull back a fair bit. Previously, it's pulled back a lot, and I can't see why this can't come back down to this level, to tell the truth. If it breaks this level, I see it coming down to 50. So, if you were to buy there, you better have your stop losses close. So, buy it on the line, very similar to this. But I do think it's going to come down. If I was to add, that wasn't the one. MACD's pointing down on the 4-hour. And let's look on the daily, see what it's doing. Downward momentum, definitely. So I don't see this going up anytime soon. So I do see it coming back down here again. Just the way that looks. It is pretty much a strong buying area, though. So this area still looks strong. I don't see it going really deep. Not like past beyond that. Not at this point. Yeah, this can easily go up. So yeah, 50% is there. Roughly. So if you want to play it safe, wait for it to go above this 50%. So at the moment, it does look RSI matches price, so there's nothing that's giving it away. All I can see is it's not really deeply pulled back with this Phoenix on the daily. It's not deep, and the momentum is not really deep. So this could easily turn up. It's good. I think potentially that's a good level to buy if it comes down here, and have your stop losses a bit closer, just below. So definitely that there is the pretty much the line from that point. You can see that has a level of significance. This has a level of significance. At the moment, this one's being respected. And that's why is it a level of significance? Well, when price goes up, it gets rejected, pulls back. Gets rejected, pulls back. So therefore, these two levels are level of significance, and then you apply across. And then you see point of control. This one didn't come down deep enough, so ever so slightly high or low. So this could easily go up, and that's our A, B, C, potentially a rejection D, and then up. Yeah, so that looks good. That's a bit more bullish than the others. I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. Thanks for coming on board. Thanks for listening. And come and join my group. 10 days free. It's on my signature. You can just join through the bot. It's 10 days subscription free. So all you have to just answer the question and you go through, and then join our community. Anyway, have a nice day. Talk to you soon. Cheers.